Sorry, getting organised. Hello. Wasn't quite ready. Now this may be a long video. Make yourself a Slurpee. I got one. Got a bad back as well. Hang on a minute. Oh, I just need to get comfortable. There we go. So, cheers. Hello. Hello properly this time. Okay, so this is going to be a little news type video. I'm going to tell you about the kind of update with my channels, which I discussed I think in the last video. Or at least I asked for opinions and ideas. I think I've worked it out now, so I'll tell you about that in a minute. I will also be telling you about the nightmare last night. I had quite a day of it actually yesterday. I'll tell you all this in a minute really, but I took the car over first thing in the morning to be serviced and MOT'd. No problems, so that's wonderful. With the service or the MOT, so that's good. And it was a long day and other things happened in the day and what have you, and I decided that I'd treat myself for being so good and get a takeaway. But two words that don't go together is a takeaway delivery. How can it be? How can it be a takeaway and a delivery at the same time? But I'll tell you all that in a minute now. So let's start. Right, well, thank you for your comments. I made a video called Getting Older, and I mentioned a neighbour of mine who I think he was feeling very isolated. He was kind of homebound, should we call it, housebound, whatever. I've had a couple of conversations with him, and I suggested that I run him a couple of times a week, as long as my back and my ankles are okay, so it depends on health. But I suggested a couple of times a week that I run him down to see his friends. He's got a friend, she's 92, they've been friends for years, and he used to go down there 7 days a week, and they used to just sit and watch telly or sit and have a cup of tea. Occasionally they would go out and they'd have a meal in a cafe at sort of lunchtime. Or sometimes he would take her shopping or whatever, you know, they just do whatever they did. And she's just a really good friend of his. Since his heart attack, he hadn't seen her at all. So he was in hospital. I think he was in 5 weeks. I think that's what he said. So he didn't see her for 5 weeks. He's been out for 5 weeks and hasn't seen her. So I suggested that I run him down there a couple of times a week and go and pick him up. And he said, no, I don't want to put you through any trouble, you know. I says, no trouble, you know, I'm willing to do it. I'm quite happy to do it. I don't want any payment for it and all the rest of it. You know, he's 87, he is, I believe. He might be 88 because I think he had a birthday recently. Not that it matters. But he wouldn't. He said, no, I can't. I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't feel comfortable. And I said, really? I said, yeah, the offer's there for you. He said, no, I wouldn't be comfortable. They're funny, aren't they, old people to deal with anyway, so he wouldn't do that. So I said, what about getting a mobility scooter then? Because she's only at the bottom of the village, you know, she's only, I don't know where she actually lives. Anyway, it's not far. And he said, oh, I've been thinking about one, but then I'd have to cross the road. And I said, it's a village, you know, there's not much traffic, you know. I said, if you got one, I could see you across the road, see you safely across the road. He's only got to cross one road, and then if he remains on that path, he can go all the way down to the bottom of the village and see his friend. Anyway, a couple of days later, literally 2 days later, a van arrived with a brand spanking new mobility scooter, bless him. And he had a guy out, I think either that day or the day after. I've got to keep an eye on the time. Mind your back, Bri. Okay, I'm going to turn, oh, God. I'm going to turn this camera off at 1:15 and I'll turn it back on. Because the battery always runs out, we know that, don't we? Either that day or the following day, a guy put some electric into his shed. So that's where the scooter now lives. And bless him, he's been on it every single day apart from yesterday and today. Yesterday it snowed quite heavily, and today we've had a snow, whatever you want to call it, shower, snow shower, I don't know. Talking about things that, so that's good news, isn't it? So that's good. Talking about words that shouldn't really go together, or oddities within words, like takeaway delivery, for instance. We were in the woods this morning, not for too long because of my back and what have you, but we played the usual, and it snowed heavily, really heavily. And that's a weird thing, isn't it? Because snow flutters down. How could it be heavy? It wasn't heavy on me, but that's what we call it. It snowed heavily. Anyway, it did. It was absolutely magical. I should have taken the camera with me. I didn't. I often don't, but never mind. So what else have I got to tell you? Okay, yeah, so let's discuss yesterday. What a debacle. Okay, yesterday. Up bright and early, but with a bad back. And I tried to do some yoga and stuff like that, and I couldn't get comfortable, and I had to take the car in for a service and MOT. I looked out and it was snowing like mad. I don't like driving in the snow. I do love the snow. I don't enjoy driving in the snow. So anyway, whatever. I thought I got everything ready and we set sail, and that was that. You know, got over there, and the guy said, "Oh, I remember you from last year." He said, "Hang on," and he went into the back room, came back out, and he said, "There's your spare key for the car." When I bought the car, I only got one key, so yeah, I got two keys. That's good. So anyway, it was snowing heavily, and I said, "I'm going to phone up for a taxi. All right to wait in here?" And he said, "Yeah, there's sofas over there." I said, "Great." I phoned up two local firms, and they were both really, really busy, partly because of the snow, but also the time in the morning. They were taking kids to school, etc., etc. One said an hour, and one said not until 11 o'clock. And I said, "I'm not waiting, you know." So I went back and I said to Matey Boy, I said, "I just phoned up two taxis, and it's going to be either an hour or 11 o'clock. I can't wait, you know." And he said, "We'll take one of our cars." He said, "No charge." How lovely is that? I said, "Is that okay?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "We've got four fleet cars." He said, I'll get whatever his name was. Anyway, I'll get him to de-ice it and sort it out for you." So he did do. Came to the door about 2 minutes later, gave me the keys, and that was it. Off I went. You know, that was it. It's lovely, isn't it? So that was good. Came back and sorted boats out and all the rest of it, and it took a long time really, I think, to do the service and the MOT. I think what they do, they get everybody in at about 8:30, and then they just work through whatever car was nearest to the door. So they didn't work through my car. Excuse me, they didn't work through my car first. I'm losing my bloody voice. Yeah, so they didn't work my car first, I don't think. Anyway, whatever. So eventually I went and picked the car up. All good and all the rest of it, you know. Did a great job, I think. And fairly reasonable, I suppose, price-wise. You know, garages always charge whatever they want to charge. So I was driving back, and a couple of weeks ago, I went into, there's a takeaway right down the bottom. I was driving past it a few weeks back, and it was open. I just stopped and got myself whatever I got myself. And I have said to the Chinese in the village, I said, "Why don't you do deliveries? You know, I think you get a lot of extra custom." And she said, "No, you know, not interested." I said, "All right, fine." And I said to them, "Why don't you do deliveries? You know, extra custom, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Oh, that's something we've been thinking about, really." And I said, "Well, I think you should do it." Anyway, I got my takeaway, and that was that. And picked my car up yesterday, driving back, and in their window, great big thing is, "Now we now deliver £1." That's good, isn't it? So I know the people really. away, because when I get my food there, I mean, it's not too often that I get my food there, but when I do, rather than just standing quiet, I stand and have a chat with whoever's kind of serving or stood around normally. And it can be 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes perhaps, and I'm just stood there chatting. So they sort of know me. Anyway, I popped in and I said, "You delivering?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We've got a new menu." So give me a new menu. And I said, "I'll be using you sometimes now." That's great, you know, rather than me. It's a little bit too far for me to walk. On a good day I can walk there, but I have to drive there really, and I can't be bothered to, so I don't really use them. So, and that's what I said to him. So anyway, I came back and I thought, why don't I have one tonight after doing the car and all the rest of it, you know, driving through the bloody snow, which I didn't like. So I thought, yeah, why don't I do that? And so anyway, I phoned them up and I said, "I'd like a delivery." And they said, "Yeah, no worries." And they asked a few details and they said, "Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes." You know, so they knew where I was and all the rest of it. I said, "Great." 10, 15 minutes went, you know, 20 minutes went, half an hour. So I phoned up and I said, "It's me again. Got no food, you know, what's going on?" And they said, "Oh, he's on his way." And I said, "Well, he's on his way right now." And they said, "Yeah, great." I said, "All right." So I walked out to the road to meet him. There was no car coming up the road at all. There was no cars moving in the village. So I stood there in the cold for about 5 minutes, waited. Nothing. Nothing at all. So I came back in and I checked my phone when I phoned them, and it was 47 minutes had gone by. So I thought 3 more minutes. And, you know, that's 50 minutes. That's more than enough time. I mean, when I'm okay, I can walk there in 3 minutes, you know, so this is 50 minutes. So I phoned up and I said, "Look, I haven't got my food, you know, what's going on?" And this guy said, "He's on his way." And I said, "You said that, you said 15 minutes. In half an hour, you said he's on his way, and then in 40 odd minutes, you're saying he's on his way. Is he on his way?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, look, I don't want cold food." And he said, "No, he's only just left." I said, "Has he? Why did you tell me 15 minutes? And then you told me he was on his way 10 minutes ago." And he said, "I'm sorry, he's only just left." I said, "All right." Anyway, I gave it another 10 minutes, and that was the hour. And no sign of anybody. So I phoned up and I said, "Cancel the order." You know, I said, "It's ridiculous." And he said, "I'm sorry." He said, "We've been trying to phone the driver and can't get in contact with him." And I said, "Well, just cancel it." I mean, how shoddy is that? Their first week, apparently, of delivering, and it's, well, it's awful. Rubbish. So I had to turn around and cook myself a meal then. Takeaway delivery, it's words that shouldn't go, isn't it, really? A bit like heavy snow. So I got a little note here. So I've still got a bad pain in my back. That'll go in about a week. I know this pain. I've had this pain sometimes in my life. I got a hospital Wednesday, which we know, Wednesday evening. So hopefully that'll give me some results as to what's going on, you know, inside that side, you know, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, and just to finish the video then, really, oh, I'll turn the video off and then turn it back on. I've got to bloody move now. Oh, 1 minute, hello. There we go. So, I asked a question about the videos. A couple of people have said to me recently, you know, I used to, actually 4 people it is, said I used to like your daily vlogs, you know, or virtually daily vlogs. Would you go back to doing them? No, I'm not going to go back to doing them because I think my health has changed enough that I don't go out like I used to. So I'm not out and about, so I can't show you too much really, but I do, sometimes I do video when I'm out. So they will still be, if and when, I think, on this channel, The Ramblings of Bry. However, a couple of people have said, "I love the longer videos that you do." Well, on my other channel, Ishi Art, links in the description box if you want to have a look or not, as I keep saying, On my other channel, on Ishiar, I sometimes do longer videos and I chat on there and all the rest of it, you know, so might be worth a look if you like a longer video from me. So what I've decided, and thank you for all your comments and opinions and things like that really, because it does help, you know, to voice either a concern or worry or whatever, or just something like that that's just kind of have your opinions, you know, your advice or whatever. Excuse me. It's nice to get lots of feedback, and I do appreciate that. So what I've decided to do is to keep. I kind of like the fact that Ishiar is a quiet, gentle, little peaceful channel. I like that. It's a small channel. I feel that I know everybody there. I don't, but I feel that I know everybody there. And we have some lovely communication there. Sometimes I do not live videos, but I do premiere videos. Sometimes I do videos of me actually painting. Sometimes I do time lapses and things like that really. So what I'm going to do is with this channel, The Ramblings of Bryce, just continue doing what I do, which is to empty my head, and it is just the ramblings of Bry. So sometimes we're in, sometimes we're out, sometimes we're chatting, sometimes we're bimbling, sometimes we're drinking Slurpee. And sometimes it's whatever really. But on that channel, on Ishiar, I've decided that because I do a weekly video, my paintings always come up on a Thursday evening, as you're probably aware. And I normally put the video up a day or two before that. I try and put it up on a Tuesday. I do try. Sometimes it's a Monday, sometimes it's a Wednesday, but I try on a Tuesday. So I'm going to keep that the same time that I would try for the Tuesday, but they will be much longer videos. And what I'm going to do is, I think the start of the video, I will say, here's what's coming up this week, and show you whatever I've got in the way of art for that week. And that'll just be for a minute or two, and then I can get on with the video. So those that are not interested in me chatting or seeing me work or whatever, they can just watch that 1 minute or two and move on, you know, stop watching the video. That's what I've decided to do really, because I think it would make more sense to do a longer video over there while I'm not out and about, you know, while, particularly now it's winter and it's cold, wet, whatever it is, you know. So it'd make more sense to do a longer video over there while I'm actually working perhaps, or explaining the process or whatever. And of course I just talk about life in general, because I do. I believe it was the glorious John Long said that he said, you can bloody ramble. He said, you can ramble the hairs off of my wooden leg. Didn't realise that was your leg, John. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got two channels, obviously, The Ramblings of Bry and Ishiar. Ishiar will be longer videos. I'll try to put them up on the Tuesday, and The Ramblings of Bry will remain as it is. I did have two people that, this is sort of odd in a way. Somebody said, I really like your art, but I never go over to Ishiar. So I said, just out of interest, why not? And he said, I'm probably just lazy. And that's fine, whatever, you know, but I don't understand it. And somebody else said, I really miss not seeing your art. I wish you would show your art on this channel. And I said, I've got another channel, a separate channel. And she said, yeah, but I don't watch it. Well, you can, you are allowed, you know. So she said, please put more art up on The Ramblings of Bry. Well, my art goes on Ishiar. But I think what I will do at the end of this video, probably the end of every video, not every video, but the end of some videos on The Ramblings of Bry, I would just show you very quickly what I've got coming up in the week, you know, next week, something like that, if I've made any sense. Thank you for listening. It's been a bit of a long ramble, long-winded ramble there. Oh, it'd be nice to get this back sorted. Every movement hurts, and the worst is getting in and out of bed. That really hurts. I've just been stood in the shower and I've literally let the hot water just pummel my back. Thought that would help. I've been sat with a hot water bottle this morning for about 2 hours, but nothing's helping yet, but it will go. It'll go at some stage. We are expecting more snow, but we've got blue sky at the moment, but we are expecting more snow. It keeps snowing, then I think, oh, that's lovely, and then it goes, you know. It's been like that for 2 or 3 days. But excuse me, we are expecting more snow, so if it snows, I'm going to try to get out, but my back is quite bad really when I walk, and Bodie's a bugger for pulling, so I might miss it this year. But yeah, we have been out in the snow. You've seen a snow bimble from me and stuff like that, so we do get out and about if and when we can. Okay, I think that's everything from me now. I can shut up and let you get on, and you probably finish your Slurpee. I'm 3/4 of the way down mine. Thank you again for all your opinions and what have you on kind of how I should have the channels, I think, really. So I'm going to keep the Ramblings of Bride just for my ramblings, really. Apart from just at the very end, I might just show you a couple of paintings. I might do every now and then. And I keep Ishi Art really just for my art, but I will have longer videos on there. But as I say, right at the very start, I will say, here's what's coming up, show you them, and then go into the video proper, if you like. So if you're not interested in a longer video, you only have to watch the first whatever, okay? Take care of yourselves. If you're going outside, lovely, but be careful. It's apparently they've got ice in Scotland. Oh, my nephew. My sister let me know my nephew, I don't have any sort of communication with him anymore, which is a real shame. He lives in Scotland. He was driving and his car got into a bit of a spin, and his car ended up somersaulting completely, crashing on the roof and then on the side of the car, and he eventually come to a stop in a ditch. Now luckily the ditch wasn't full of water or whatever, but anyway, he's okay. He's hurt his shoulder and ribs and a few things. I imagine the car's a write-off. I don't know because I haven't spoken to anybody. But yeah, you've got to take it so easy, so careful, haven't you? He was just on his way to work, bless him, you know. So take care of yourself. But if you can get outside, get outside. It's good for you. I've got to lean forward now, haven't I, and hurt myself. Take care. Be well.